Could almost believe it's going to be like this forever. And then in a fraction of a second, it's never going to be the same again. Well, there's a question.
Terry and I read an article about a woman who lost her husband and then had to dive into all of the digital assets he left her and how big a task that was. What happens to our digital legacy after we die? It's set in a cafe. Every audience member receives a mobile phone and headphones, and we could look into anything that happens in Terry's phone.
Hi, it's Faith. Sorry I can't get to the phone right now. Please leave me a message and I'll call you back. Bye.
Hey, Faith, it's Terry. I just saw something on Facebook, and I wanted to check in with you. I'm not sure where you are, but it's kind of creeped me out. I'm assuming it's just some weird thing that someone's put up as a joke or something like that.
Even as I'm leaving this message, I'm no longer listening. I can no longer hear my own voice. My mind is racing.
They're classic things and they're contemporary things sort of coming together. So we're working a lot with thinking about how the digital, and in particular, the devices that we carry with us, change our experience of the world and of ourselves and of our relations with other people. And in particular, that's orbiting around a story, in this case, about bereavement and about digital legacy, about what we leave behind us online when we go.
Making an exception in this case, it is far more appropriate for you or Hector to be taking on this responsibility. As I said when we spoke, and again I appreciate I was possibly clumsy, but it has to be said, if it's down to me, I'd choose to delete everything in a heartbeat. Again, I'm truly sorry for your loss.
What we ended up with was looking at ways you could tell individual kind of intimate stories by using kind of the devices that they use on a day-to-day basis and how much time we spend with our kind of digital devices and phones in particular. So what we've ended up building is essentially it's an app, and it's an app that pretends to be lots of other apps on your phone. So the audience sit there, they've got the phone in front of them, and they can see what the main character in the production is seeing on their phone. So you're sort of eavesdropping really into someone's quite personal space.
I've been working with Dante or Die theatre company, exploring ways of making their performance accessible for deaf people. It's been really interesting seeing how we can use technology in a way that is integrated with the new performance. Instead of just using an interpreter, how can we use captions in an interesting way? And how we can make all the performances accessible rather than just selected ones.
This body of water, depthless, and I'm swimming and sinking at the same time. I'm resisting and I'm letting it take me. I'm falling through light and liquid crystal.
From a lighting perspective, what that'll do, and when there's times that actually everything should turn off except the phones, or can we manipulate the phones in a way to light the space or change the atmosphere in a separate way to the more traditional theatrical lighting ways. Whereas I like the idea of the challenge of creating something that I can bring to any cafe, and we bring in our own equipment set up and are good to go.
Maybe this is a new kind of sleep. It hasn't been done before, and there are no instructions yet for waking up.